One of the things that over my many, many years of experience in HR and people and culture that I've come to realize is HR sometimes is the last person an employee actually wants to tell they're in trouble.
We talk a lot about putting people first, about building a culture of well-being. But what does that really mean? How do you translate values into action? How do you create a workplace where people don't just show up, they thrive? This is the Navigate People First podcast, and today we're diving deep into the heart of successful well-being strategy, one that's not just about perks, it's about purpose. Today, we have Christy Smith, our Senior Vice President of People and Growth Strategy, and Jim Barclay, our Senior Vice President of Operations. They're the architects of a workplace culture that's not just award-winning, it's transforming lives.
A company's employee engagement strategy and a well-being strategy shouldn't be separate initiatives. They're one and the same.
When employees are well, they show up to work. They are more motivated to come to work, to deliver at their best, to be able to provide resources and supports to their peers, but also to customers. So we see true impacts in business outcomes.
In this conversation, you'll discover the surprising link between a strong well-being strategy and skyrocketing client satisfaction, the powerful framework that helped Navigate create a great place to work 2 years in a row, how to leverage technology to personalize the employee experience and drive real engagement, the hidden resources that can make a huge difference for employees facing personal challenges, the one crucial element that many companies get wrong in their approach to well-being, and the single most important thing you can do to build a culture where people want to come to work. Get ready to rethink well-being and discover how to build a strategy that's not just good for your people, it's good for your business. This is the Navigate People First podcast.
Welcome to the Navigate People First podcast. Thank you all for joining us, and continue to subscribe and like our podcast if we are bringing value to your day. Jay and I are joined by Christy Smith, our Senior Vice President of People and Growth Strategy at Navigate, and Jim Barclay, our Senior Vice President of Operations. Today, we are talking about how to create a well-being strategy that reflects your organizational values. Let's get started. So guys, welcome to the podcast. Awesome to have you. Welcome to the conversation with Jeremy and I. This is going to be fun. Appreciate the vests as well. Very nice. Like this is live. So when we think about organizational values and how they play a critical role in shaping the work environment, influencing employee well-being and productivity, maybe talk to us about how you've prioritized those values inside Navigate and press that forward when it comes to supporting our people.
Well, I think it's a really important thing when you look at creating a great place to work, which we have done at Navigate. And when you look at employee engagement generally, which has been a top priority of HR leaders since the early 1990s, I mean, it's really about framework and how you create a sense of authenticity and integrity in the way you create your culture in your organization. And having a framework that really revolves around core values that you have integrated into your day-to-day operations really helps the organization to create a sense of belonging for employees. It also helps the organization to understand and really evaluate, assess what employees need within the organization in order for their experience to really exceed their expectations, but drive that feeling of belonging, which drives engagement. And what we know now is that when employees are well, they show up to work. They are more motivated to come to work, to deliver at their best, to be able to provide resources and supports to their peers, but also to customers. So we see true impacts in business outcomes when employees are well and they come to work. And all of that is that connectivity to the values to begin with. So we bring employees in. When leadership models the way, this is a top-down strategy, but when leadership models the way of the values, so demonstrates the values in our organizational practices on a regular basis, that does create a very good framework for employees to be successful. And when employees are well, they are successful. And when they're successful, the organization benefits from that from a business outcome perspective.
Yeah, I love it. And when we talk about our company's values aligning with our employees' personal values, that's an X factor here at Navigate. And Jim, you lead a significant business unit here at Navigate when it comes to our account teams. And I believe our latest numbers from the team were 96% satisfaction rate with our clients.
96.4.
Sorry, 96.4. Let's just let that sink in a little bit. Sorry about that. 96.4. Well done, Jim and team. When you think about that aspect of organizational values and making sure people understand that what they do every day has a greater meaning and purpose, it's just not work. It's assisting the HR folks. It's helping them with their employees. It's helping them with their strategy and actually bringing their values to life within their well-being program. Where does your head go when it comes to that aspect of bringing those organizational values and together?
Yeah, a couple things actually. I mean, Christy, as you were talking, I mean, one of the conversations that we have a lot internally in this organization is that a company's employee engagement strategy and a well-being strategy shouldn't be separate initiatives. They're one and the same because both of them are impacting the person and that person that's showing up to work. So that's a huge conversation that we're having all the time with our clients. Yeah, we are really proud of that 96.4 satisfaction rate because it's important how we show up for our clients, and those aren't metrics that we are touting. Those are our clients coming to us saying, here's what you all are able to achieve for us. So again, very proud of that. But it was awesome to be able to kind of dig in with the team and talk to them about some of the clients that are actually putting this into practice in a really awesome way. And there's a couple examples that stood out to me. We have a group that we work with, have worked with for a couple of years now, that actually reshaped their entire program, that it used to be just focused on well-being. And through the work of our team and just working on the strategy and kind of where they wanted to go, culture was a really big part of who they are as an organization. And through our technology and the way that we're able to modify our plan designs and really bring things to light in a personalized way, we were able to take this organization's culture pieces and put together a program that allows the employees to interact, one, with the platform, two, with engaging things like engage with social media posts that we have our company putting in our social media ecosystem, bring or recruit another employee to the well-being program. So that connectedness. Another one was write a review on Glassdoor or Indeed about our company. Those are things that are being tracked within their well-being program that aren't focused on well-being, but it's focused on bringing the culture of the organization. And then the other part that was super cool digging into that was I was interested in, okay, we've got groups that are utilizing their programs that way. How well do they perform? Super awesome to see they're performing at 2 to 3 times the engagement level of our other programs. So can we directly tie that to because of the culture pieces? I don't think we can directly tie, but I guarantee it plays a huge part because now think about the communications that comes from that program. It's not just about the weight loss challenge or the steps challenge. It's about things that are already being talked about in the boardrooms, in the break rooms, in the organization, because they're things and elements that we're bringing to bear. So super awesome to see it happening within our clients, but then also to see the performance of those programs from those clients.
Yeah, that personalization, we're going to continue to talk about that over the year, that hyper personalization. Jay, when you think about, one of the things I think our technology does, aligning with our account management team as we're building out programs that are complex, is that we're engaging, the key stakeholders of the entire company, obviously including HR, but we're also asking employees, we're asking senior leadership, what do they want to give back to the program that aligns with the organizational values? And that's not easy bringing those all together because that becomes, a complex program, but how are we fostering that and how we're utilizing technology for good in that manner?
I think there's a lot that goes into that conversation. And I think you got to start by listening. I think we offer up quite a few tools to listen and understand the participant experience, whether that be from a healthcare standpoint, surveys, data collection, biometrics, that sort of thing, to pulse surveys, to custom forms that you want people to fill out. You name it, we can probably collect that data. So as a listening tool, I think it starts, and then taking that data and making it into actionable items is at the heart of it. And I hate to boil it down to that level, but if you strip everything away, that's what the platform does. It helps engage participants, listens to what they have to say, and provides data back on that information, whether it be the participant or the client. And what that allows you to do is build a program around it. And we tend to use that for a healthcare program. But what we're finding is that a more robust, a more holistic program is going to be better, not just for program results, but for organizational results. And that's a really powerful message. And, I hate to keep throwing this out there, and I talk about this on a regular basis. That's why I say I'm throwing it out there. But the incentive that is built around a well-being program, it's expected, it's understood, it's just part of the part of what we do. Can be utilized to leverage other behaviors outside of healthcare behavior change, lifestyle change. When you're talking about cultural change, you can utilize the incentive, the platform, the communications, all of the tools that we're providing to drive cultural change or to just drive overall engagement in what the platform does. And that helps bring stakeholders together. You may be focusing on well-being. Someone else in your organization may be focusing on participant engagement, the participant experience. Bring those two things together with the tools, with the data, and with the program and incentive that ties a nice bow around that whole employee experience, at least potentially.
It brings a consistency to the communication, right? Again, goes back to you're hearing pieces not just from a platform that's communicating something separate than what this platform is communicating, and now it's just noise, right? There's a cohesive message that you can deliver. And again, our platform can help enhance that message.
Yeah, I think that's another important point with that is the fact that what the data tells us is that employees are looking for a well-being program that they understand what the benefits are. They understand why they should be using it and how they should be using it, which is where the holistic well-being program really comes in, because no two people's well-being journey is the same. But then also the ease of access within the system once they're in there. And when you're talking about things that are relatively simple to do, the point is getting somebody to engage, because then they start seeing the other benefits that are in there as well. And I think, again, just going back to the fact of our goal and desire from a people and culture team is always our employees' experience, but really, ultimately, it's employee engagement because of the impact on business outcomes. But the wellness piece of it is the key that really hasn't come free or front and center for us until the last 2 years when we had that fantastic endorsement from the Surgeon General. But really makes sense. If I am well, then I'm going to show up to work well. Then I am going to be more engaged. I'm going to be more in line with the values that are in the organization. And overall, everybody's going to succeed and win together.
I think the access to resources too, like we've talked about this in the past of how our platform can bring to light some of the hidden resources and some of the hidden awesome resources. Should probably clarify it that way. We've had testimonials before where it was like, thank you. I had no idea where my EAP was.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And only because we're placing it on the platform in an easily accessible way where an employee can say, there it is.
Right.
Right. And again, those are things that we're enhancing. We're not replacing. We're just enhancing and we're driving people to those.
As an HR leader, the hub is one of my favorite things because you do create a one-stop shop. And we do want things to be easy for employees to get to it. But also with just the messaging capabilities that are within the platform, being able to also highlight what's happening this month in the organization, what you should be aware of. It's time to fill out these forms, do these things. It just makes our job so much easier.
So Christy, when you think about the strategies of aligning, organizational goals to company values, the Great Place to Work survey has been a great tool for us. one thing about a survey is you need to implement the feedback and you need to listen to employees. Talk to us maybe about the action steps or how you've used that Great Place to Work survey and then implementing feedback into as we look at the impact that that can bring to our culture.
It's just so critical that we are listening to employees in all aspects. So I think one of you talked about that before. The tool that we have found to help us do that the best is the Great Place to Work survey. It's something that is endorsed by the Great Place to Work Institute. The reason why we picked it is because the depth of the information, the feedback that they're asking employees to provide about the organization is a real indication of drivers of employee engagement and drivers of how well we are keeping our word to our values. So it's a very good alignment for us. So for us at Navigate, what we have done then is do our strategic priorities based on big rocks. And the first big rocks in our list of big rocks is the people and culture big rock, which is to be a great place to work. Proud to be above 92% for 2 years consecutive in surveying, but there's still so much feedback and data within the survey itself to help us to continue to improve, because it's not something you can ever take your eye off of. We want to always have this be top of mind because we do get the connection between our employees and their engagement and our organizational success. And so what we have done as a leadership team, we take that feedback, we evaluate it, we go through it, we prioritize what are the things that we think will have the biggest impact on the organization's engagement level. And those items become a part of our strategic priorities for people and culture. So it's completely intertwined, which gets back to that authentic integration of your values within your organizational system. It's a key way. We also assign KPIs to those. So having KPIs and core responsibilities for every leader in the organization ensures that if we say we care about your training and development, which here at Navigate we do very much, if we care about your training and development, we're actually going to put forth the strategies, the processes, and the systems to ensure that you have resources available to you to develop and grow and to really work through your work plan as well. So for example, we do training buckets for every employee. So every employee has a dollar amount that they know we want them to spend on their own development in the year. That's our way of saying we are invested in your success and we want to make sure that you have everything you need to be able to work at the top of your license. It's just one example of the many strategies that we're working on related to ensuring we have fair compensation and competitive benefits, making sure that employees feel rewarded and recognized, that their voice is heard, that we have aligned decisions to their input is important to their decision making. So many different things that we know drive engagement. We're able to focus it because we have that data from the Great Place to Work survey.
I think you just quantified that HR leaders have a lot on their plate these days.
It's fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're party planners.
Yeah, but you've seen, Christy, where companies with comprehensive well-being programs have 25% lower absentee rates. You're seeing where we've got increased engagement across our book of business and our employees. Those that invest in it toward the strategy of the business are rewarded with the outcomes of for the business. That's been kind of a refreshing thing I think I've seen over the course of the last 15, 16 years we've been doing this. And Jay, I want to bring up one of your favorite topics is the buckets.
The buckets.
The technology buckets.
I have been told I have to not call it the buckets anymore because my names tend to stick and my names tend to be terrible.
So when we think about the buckets, we've talked about the well-being, the pillars of well-being, the holistic side of things. We talk about prevention and personalization here at Navigate, the incentives and the total rewards. When we think about calibrating that personal aspect of investing in the individual, you're now combining what we're doing within, and our clients are as well, combining that personal and professional development when it comes to their career for those team members into that total health and helping them drive engagement that way. Can we talk about how that bucket came to fruition?
Yeah, it's basically a philosophical tool that we've evolved to, in that we know we want the participant experience personalized, but we also need to to customize or tailor the client's overall objectives and put that into something that's tangible and actionable for these participants. So you've got your personal journey sort of up at the top of your program, right? That's really where we want it. But we also want all of those cultural values, all of those big rock objectives that all of our partner organizations out there are trying to achieve, whether that be a cultural goal, a health goal, an engagement goal. All of those can be and should be represented in whatever kind of programming you're running. And the buckets are a way to reflect that. We're colloquially calling it our points and categories, right? It's a very simple name for doing something that's actually really I like buckets better, but
maybe we'll do a survey.
So the idea is very simple. What kind of goals and objectives do you want to represent in your programming? And that's often well beyond just healthcare, just well-being. And so we take that and we represent it in your program through separate incentivization. So instead of a one-size-fits-all program where you've got a giant bucket full of points, now we have several smaller buckets full of points that are tailored to what the client's trying to achieve.
Jim, I want to go to there. When we're thinking about designing and implementing programs and bringing this all together, changing a well-being vendor can feel like a very daunting task. One of the things, looking back at 2024 is we saw a lot of folks changing vendors to navigate. Thank you for that. When you think about that number one aspect of developing the trust factor, as we talked about, number one thing we need to do is develop the trust with our folks and keep our HR team and well-being and their well-being top of mind as we're implementing, we're making that change. How do you see serving that goal of designing that program, making sure we're taking care of the HR team, what's top of mind for them, then also making sure that we're helping them think about their organizational goals as we're bringing them inside a new well-being program, new technology, and designing that program?
Yeah,
that's a lot there. Sorry.
No, it's a great question, and honestly fits in with the entire dialogue here of how much is going on in the HR space and everything that's on the plates. One of the simplest ways that I can whittle it down that I'm really proud of at Navigate can be said in: you do what you say you're going to do. You show up and you help do exactly what you said you were going to. And a lot of that, we've talked a lot on this podcast and internally, again, we listen. So all of the initiatives that are going on, helping bring those cultural elements into, doesn't come by just slapping something on the wall. That's a process-driven approach that we have to make sure that strategy and listening and that discovery phase with our clients is something that we're very intentful about to understand our clients. We don't get to put a great program together because it's just a cookie cutter, one size fits all. That has to come from sitting across the table, having a great dialogue, but also prior to that, understanding the clients we're serving. So doing our homework, showing up and saying, listen, we've already looked into some of the things, and here's great things that we think we can bring out or draw out within your program. But we want to understand, what are your initiatives? What are your big rocks? What are those things you're trying to achieve throughout the year? Let's enhance those. Let's help you create the space to do that. So again, a lot of that, simply said, we show up and do what we say we're going to do. Our technology allows us to do that. It has that flexibility built in where we can engage in that conversation to say, guess what? It might not work exactly that way, but I bet we've got an alternative that we can bring that approach to. So again, we say listening a lot, but it rings true and it rings home.
Jay, as we sit here in Silicon Prairie, and we think about the metrics that Jim's talking about, that the data support and the programming and the effectiveness, you continue to drive continuous improvement in that area at Navigate, and 2025 is going to be a great year as we're pushing out more of our data tools. Maybe talk to us about how that monitoring and evaluation, we're bringing data to help show those metrics of bringing those key factors of a well-being program together.
I think it's got to be an ongoing effort. You've got to understand where the people who need the data can put it to use, right? So you need it on a regular basis. You need to be able to adapt your programming to it. You need to have a technology stack that can actually support that. And we provide that on a regular basis through our account team. We need to be able to get them that efficiently, easily. So we're working on some efficiencies we're built in there. And ultimately, it's got to do what it says it's going to do. So you've got to be collecting the information you need to prove out your use cases. And we've been doing that. I'd say we've been doing a better job every year, right? I don't know that there's ever a, yes, we are there. I just don't think that exists. We are always going to try to get better. And the successes we've seen based on the data that we have, and this is not our thumb on the scale data. It's not, cherry picking certain clients' data. We saw significant improvements. We saw our total health program representing lifestyle improvements averaging 3.5% for the book of total health people. We saw our book of business biometric enhancers, to call out some key ones, improve waist circumference by 17%. That's a monster.
I want to pause that for a minute. Take that in a little bit.
17%. 93% of people in our programs improved on at least one biometric. 75% too. Those are numbers that we're all really, really proud of. And we have to make sure that, yes, those big picture numbers are great and we're proud of them, but we want to make sure that every client understands where they are in their journey. How does their lifestyle results look like? How do their behavior change results? How do their clinical results look like? And that's got to be delivered to them in a way that's easy to consume, because they don't have a whole lot of time to run through a spreadsheet. I know I love to crunch the numbers in a spreadsheet, but give me some slides that show me exactly what I need to know. And they get that on a regular basis from your team.
So Jay, that's a perfect example of when we talk about one of our organizational values at Navigate is innovation and inspiration. And we think about within our well-being pillars of holistic well-being, supporting that person personally, building that culture, also developing that trust and authentically reaching out and talking about prevention and even more personalization that leads to potential, looking at that at-risk population, looking at interventions, looking at coaching, supporting that, which also incorporates incentives and total rewards. All those things are authentic messages that you can bring together, align with your organizational values, incentivize, and help build a culture of well-being and care. That's where I'm very proud that we contribute to that supportive environment for that HR person when change happens, that we're able to help them with their overall strategy and really bring this balance of all the things that they're doing underneath that one roof and really connect the dots. That to me is where the data that we have is amazing to the connection points of well-being, prevention, personalization, helping risk, and looking at incentives and total rewards. And at the end, cost management.
One of the things that I would just like to share with everybody is at Navigate, of course, we embrace the platform at its fullest level with total health, and really, really love the personalization piece of it, because wellness is motivated by the person. It's not motivated by people and culture. But as we look at our engagement numbers and where our engagement numbers are with employees and how many employees are earning the incentive, and when we're looking at biometric changes and those types of things, I think one of the greatest things about the platform is the access that it offers, because of all of the different things that an employee can go in and see. And I think sometimes people don't understand that wellness is important to them until they see how easy it can be by seeing how the resources are laid out, seeing how the information is laid out, how the system itself comes up and tells you this would be good for you today. And so then you really start to get that engagement. If you're struggling to drive engagement within your platform, I think the more you can do as an HR leader to get people to go to the platform, even if it's to check their pay stub or to go to their EAP or to look at their employee handbook, those are all really good ways to get people in there to see what's available for them.
Making those behaviors that we want people to be doing something actionable and something easy.
Right.
And also gauging the readiness for change of folks too. I mean, there's a great opportunity to be able to, specify the services that you need based on your readiness to change. And we think about all the things that are available to us, whether it be on the clinical side or our mental or emotional well-being side of things, career side of things. Let's make sure that there is a opportunity that when you're ready for change, that those resources are available to you. And the employee experience behind that is one of an integrated advancement, not this point solutions all over the place. It's like this, it's essential for well-being and connectivity to have that underneath one roof.
We've been building to that end for a long time, whether it be our technology, whether it be our process, whether it be contracting. We recognize those pain points that HR professionals are experiencing every day. We want those out of the way as much as possible so that you can focus on doing right for the people that that rely on you.
Yeah, one of the things that I have to plug too is findhelp.org. As an HR leader, our focus is caring for the employees who come to choose to work with us. And one of the things that over my many, many years of experience in HR and people and culture that I've come to realize is HR sometimes is the last person an employee actually wants to tell they're in trouble. And I love findhelp.org because we are there to help, but findhelp.org is something that if you can even just make sure your employees know that that is available for them on the platform, there's so many resources in there for employees who are struggling, along with their EAP as well. And that alone is worth gold to me because we don't know if somebody is living paycheck to paycheck and has a food scarcity issue, or if they're concerned about how to get formula for their child or clothing. And those resources, I think, are something that is just so amazing that we're able to provide right in your own community.
All right, James, your favorite part of the portal. Thanks, Christy. I love that.
Ooh, favorite part of the portal. I'm going to say it's probably when you can, the snap challenges when you can challenge each other.
Competitive nature's coming out.
Just a bit.
Ping pong?
I mean,
Or basketball.
need to get better. Some might say. Yeah, no, I think just the being able to have fun through that competition, but in a way that maybe you do know that it's helping you from a wellness perspective, but it's kind of masked, right? Because it's a fun way to engage with another employee or employees. Camaraderie, little competitiveness, nothing wrong with it.
Maybe you challenge Jad Khalil to a walking challenge, and maybe you don't go for 4 on that like you did ping pong.
Maybe we'll stick to free throws or something. I don't know.
Oh.
Find something you're good at.
Jay, get your favorite part of the portal. This is fun. This is off the cuff. We're like,
Honestly, my favorite part of the portal is something that no one sees except for us. And Jim, your team knows it, that we've got a section. There are pieces in any kind of technology platform that if you do this, you can do this, but you need to understand what the repercussions of that are, like deleting, whatever, right? And we have various spots in the admin built in that big red letters, danger zone. Do not do this unless you know exactly what you're doing. That's probably in my heart, that's my favorite piece of it. I love the new user experience. I'm enamored with it. It's you would look at it and be like, this is very simple, but what goes into building something that looks and is easy to use and looks simple is very complex and takes a long time to do. So the overall experience is something I'm very enamored with right now.
you're going to be surprised when I'm going back to Navigate You. My Navigate You is my favorite piece of our platform, along with our new UX UI. Fabulous. But when a company fosters that inclusive culture, an employee feels safe, accepted, and valued, and we open the door to communication and transparency, Navigate You is such an amazing avenue for that. It leads to better mental health. It leads to better emotional well-being. You learn more about yourself. You learn more about your colleagues, and it just gives you perspective. And I think overall, it's just a great way to engage folks in promoting career advancement, promoting emotional well-being. It's got such an X factor across our entire holistic pillars of well-being. And I just think that communication is essential, and that's a great opportunity to kind of be able to connect the dots when it comes to communication, how you show up. I just love it. So it's the best day ever, and amazing that 3 of you wore your new Navigate vests.
I forgot mine. I was Running in from another meeting. Sorry, everybody.
It's okay, Jim. You've got many episodes the
Just
rest
like
of the
ours.
year.
Give you a pass. Yeah. Give you a pass.
So you guys been around, so you guys know the best day ever. James, give us the best day ever.
Yeah. Last week I had my first experience with daddy-daughter dance, which was an emotional roller coaster, I will say. So cute, so awesome. But also really funny to walk into a room full of dads with ages of probably 6 to 11, right? And I mean, it's just straight like 8th grade dance, dudes hanging out in the corner and just girls out in the middle just getting after it.
Aw.
And my daughter walked me straight to the middle of the dance floor.
Yes.
And we danced our faces off, and it was awesome.
I love it.
It was great. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And they had cake. So I mean that made it good too. It was fun.
Oh, and punch, right?
And punch, yeah. Fairy punch.
Fantastic.
The
Yeah.
punch.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic. Jay, what do you got?
We spent quite a bit of time with all the employees of Navigate not too long ago, and it was such an invigorating experience. It was just what I needed coming off, cold winter, long holidays, working hard, getting projects out. Start the new year by being face to face with everybody on the team was just refreshing. So I am very grateful for Navigate for bringing everybody together.
Christy, what do you got?
Yeah, so CKO was last week, our company kickoff, and that's what Jeremy is referencing. And I have to say, best day ever was last Wednesday night. We did our all-employee awards night banquet. First of all, seeing our people and culture lead as the MC and award announcer.
Way to go, Ben.
Nailed it.
So great in so many ways, but now I know he's actually funny,
Yeah.
which was awesome. But truly, like the whole energy and momentum of that point was when Marcy received her award first, and she came up dancing.
Yeah. And then everyone.
And I can't
That set the
stop
stage.
thinking about it, because then every single award after, everybody who came up dancing, even some of our more introverted employees. And I just thought it was an
That's
amazing.
a good precedent.
It set a good precedent, a good tone, just a real feeling of belonging and caring and love. It was awesome.
It was fun.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I got the CKO was amazing. It was it's a perfect example of when you care for your employees to bring them all together. It's the right thing to do, but it's also a smart business strategy. We had nearly 100 Navigate folks there, and that rewards and recognition event was fantastic. And probably the best thing about that was all the nominees. There were so many nominees that were colleagues nominated people for each one of our organizational values that we provided awards for. And to see the number of nominees and read through all those nominees of the folks, it was a defining moment around our culture, around our people. And, watching some people dance was also, it was great. I understand we have lots of great singers. I understand a karaoke bar was maybe taken over by a bunch of navigators.
Somebody named Jim.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
But I understand that we've got a great singing group, and that might be integrated next year in CKO. So
Look for our album 2026 dropping. Yeah.
love it. Well, hey, everybody. Wonderful to be with you guys. Thanks for your effort of being here and spending time with us. For all of you that are out there in the HR space, thank you for all that you do for others. Continue to do so and keep doing good things. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.